already begun.
Oh, and it looks like Corey has already had a Delver of Secrets Tragic slipped, but has mana leaked a Diregraph Ghoul. Now, I assume it is Corey's third turn here. Probably thinking about what land he wants to play.
I bet you any money my brother's like, yeah, we're just going to play. We're not going to wait. We're just going to start paddling. They just start playing without us. Thanks a lot, brother. But for everyone back at home, I'm Brad Nelson. I'm joined in the booth with Jacob Van Lunen. And the person on the right is my brother, my blood brother.
Yeah, and on the left, we have Scott Vezina, who is piloting a black-red zombies deck.
There's Delver. Delver on the play against zombies is one of the most powerful things Delver can do. Just play that Geist of Saying Trap, because all of Scott's great spells come into play tap. So you're going to get hit by the Geist one turn early.
He's taking 6, and that Geist all by itself is going to represent at least 10 points of damage for Corey here. Basically, no matter what Scott has.
Exactly, yeah. It's going to deal 6 now and 4 next turn, even if it gets blocked, but one Vapor Snag deals more damage.
Yeah, a Vapor Snag here is probably GG. That's how powerful the Geist play on the Geist on the play is against zombies into an empty void.
All right, Delver number 2 comes down for Corey. Scott untaps. That is the least fearsome Dross Messenger in the world, facing down a bunch of damage. It's hard to just go into the red zone with it.
Yeah, not going to be an easy attack here. Now, Scott can, if he wants, use his Fume Spitter to deal with that Delver of Secrets and then attempt a Brimstone Volley to Corey's face and go into race mode. But
I don't like that race.
That's not going to win the game for him.
I really liked the Blood Artist. He could have played Blood Artist, and he still can.
Yeah, I mean, he can Blood Artist and sacrifice that thing.
It gives him a life point.
Yeah.
Having your life total at an odd number against Delver sometimes is good. Right now, I mean, with both players having a fistful of cards, it's hard to really know. All right, so Scott is just debating whether holding a Brimstone Volley or putting a Blood Artist into play is the correct move, and he decides to go for the Artist.
And I think that's the right play.
It is the right play, because this is going to not only poke Corey for a couple points of damage, but also gain life for Scott.
Let's see, what does Corey have here?
All right, so he is just going to use that Fume Spitter. All right, Corey's going to end response Gut Shot. That's just going to save Corey 1 point of life because of the Delver. Both the Blood Artist and the Fume Spitter both trigger off the Artist, but the Delver doesn't.
Yeah. So here Corey going to take 2 from the Blood Artist, going to 16, then another 2 from the Gut Shot, dropping him to 14. Now, tie ball game here. Scott, choosing to not attack with that Dross Messenger, wants to get that favorable block in. With the Persist, he's going to deal Corey another 2 points of damage, putting Corey down to 12 here.
Corey is not at 4, though.
14, yeah.
Restoration Angel to save the Geist. This game is all but over. That is so powerful.
It's a really big play there from Corey.
All right, yeah, that drops Scott down to 12 life, and Scott is...
yeah, he's just got a Brimstone Volley, and that's not really going to be enough.
Well, he can Tragic Slip and Brimstone Volley the same creature, or if the Geist attacks, he can, once it dies, he can Tragic Slip or Brimstone the Restoration Angel, depending on what card that last card in Corey's hand is. But Scott is no longer in the driver's seat.
What do you think? You think Corey's last card is using a Snapcaster Mage in his hand?
Knowing Corey, it's probably the nuts. Well, it's not. It could be a Snapcaster Mage. I do like this attack. So the reason that Corey isn't attacking with the Geist is not only does it trigger any morbid abilities from Scott. Either both cards in his hands are morbid, but he knows that most lists have Tragic Slip, so he could block and then kill the Restoration Angel. Scott would take 7 damage, but then be at 5 with a Dross Messenger. And this attack, the Geist will always be able to attack because it's not he's not going to have a Geth's Verdict. But if he ever finds a Vapor Snag, now that Vapor Snag is going to be able to get that Messenger off the board and attack and keep the Geist alive.
Exactly.
All right. Corey ships the turn back. Scott at 9. Scott takes his draw step. Finds a Dragon Skull Summit. Not what he wants.
Definitely not what he's looking for here.
Not the dragons he's looking for.
No, no. Does he have... any type of dragons. So let's see. He has Falkenrath Aristocrat. That's a dragon.
That's a vampire.
I mean, it's a dragon. It has 4 power.
It does eat humans, so. Alright, so Probe is going to show off his hand. Now, what do you feel about actually this turn maybe Scott just double using 2 spells to kill an angel? Corey's willingness to pay a mana for Probe tells me he doesn't have the Snapcaster range. Unless he drew a land as well. So he might have had an extra land. Alright. So, Restoration comes in. And now what's on Scott's mind is if he wants to use both removal spells to kill the angel. He's thinking of killing his own messenger to then tragic slip the Restoration Angel.
That doesn't seem optimal to me.
I don't think so. Alright, what would you do in his shoes right now?
I would take the damage.
Yeah, just go drop yourself down to 6.
Yeah, I mean, you really kind of need to draw something to get out of this, I think.
What can you draw to get out of it? Vampires doesn't really have much. I mean, you could draw an Aristocrat. That would be really good.
Yeah, exactly. Like
one of the Metamorphs would be good. You top deck one of the Metamorphs, kill the Geist. All right, he's just going to go for it. So that's going to resolve. And Restoration Angel is down. All right, so the 2 biggest and best cards in each deck are just staring each other down in top deck mode. All right, Scott passes back to Corey. 1 Vapor Snag in this game is all but over. That's all Corey's looking for is a Vapor Snag.
Both players drawing some lands here.
I do think his lands are very pretty.
Those are some nice lands. Whoever he got those from definitely has a good sense of style.
I don't know whose Delver deck that would be, but I think it's mine.
This morning, Brad gives Corey a list that has Blade Splicers in it.
Yeah.
And Corey looks through the deck list and drops the Blade Splicers on the bed and yells at you while you're in the bathroom. He's like, "Where the Geist at, bro?"
All right, Messenger is going to take down that Geist. Come back because of the Undying ability. Get a +1/+1 counter, deal 2 to Corey, and Corey's going to play another Geist and say, "Hey, bro, I hope you can deal with this. Because if you can't, the game is over."
And,
oh no, he's at 5. Never mind. All right, there's a Gravecrawler.
Gravecrawler cannot block.
No.
So
what is on the top of Corey's deck? Ooh.
Enchanter's Pike.
Now that was a top deck. Now that's going to force the Messenger to just chump block, dropping Scott to 1 life, and now Corey has a piked up Geist. So the only card that Scott can really draw to get him onto this is a Phyrexian Metamorph, but he's at 1 life.
So Phyrexian
He's
Metamorph
drawing dead.
Just kills him.
Oh, he did have 2 Gust
cast
Verdicts.
it. He needs 2 life in order to cast it.
Yeah, and I did see 2 Gust Verdicts. Yeah. All right. Scott packs it in after dealing 6 to Corey. And we're going to sideboard.
All right, so looking at these sideboards here, Corey has access to 3 Blade Splicers in his sideboard. Those are definitely going to be coming in here. Pretty strong cards. Celestial Purge, another great card in this matchup. Celestial Purge basically for this matchup.
Yes. Celestial Purge is just one of the best cards. It destroys the Undying ability. It gets rid of Gravecrawlers permanently. But the great thing about this deck list is it does have Blade Splicers in the sideboard. It's really funny. It's like, the great thing about this deck list, we did end up just playing a version that we found online, but I did really, really like this one. And so having Blade Splicers in the sideboard lets you take those Geists out that aren't that good on the draw in this matchup. So now going back on the play, I think you want the Geists.
I think Blade Splicer is just better against the zombie deck.
Just in general?
Yeah, it's just way stronger. I mean, I have been writing the new column, Perilous Research, for dailymtg.com.
It's actually really good, by the way.
Thank you very much. And you know, one of the things I've been following is the success and failures of the zombies archetype, and it fluctuates a lot. Like some weeks, zombies has the second most 4-0s behind Delver and has significantly less people playing it, so it has huge win percentage. But, you know, this most recent week, Zombies just got completely shut out.
Yeah.
You know, I think there was one 4-0 zombie deck in all of the daily events last Saturday. And if you look at the Delver lists from the days leading up to that, all of those Delver lists are playing Blade Splicer over Geist.
Yep.
And that's the oscillation that, you know, decides whether or not Zombies is doing well. When Delver is playing Blade Splicer, Zombies does not do well.
Yes.
When Delver is playing Geist of St. Trapped, Zombies does very well.
That makes complete sense.
You know.
Yeah, that does make sense. So, but yeah, Corey will be bringing in, I just want to keep saying my brother. Everyone at home, Corey Baumesiter is my brother. So if I just slip and say my brother, you know what I'm talking about. But he would be bringing in the 3 Celestial Purges and the 3 Blade Splicers for Geists and Mana Leaks or Gut Shots. Gut Shots are kind of weak in this matchup too. Depending on Scott, it depends on what you put your opponent on, because some will keep the butters and some will take them out. I think it's better to take it out, but some players do keep it in, and then when they're in, you might want a couple Gut Shots. But anyway, over on Scott's side of the board, his sideboard is 2 Vile Rebirths, 3 Knight of Infamy, I think those will be coming in.
Those will certainly be
2 Nihil Spellbombs, a Smelt, 2 Duress, a Fume Spitter, Go for the Throat, and Arc Trail, and 2 Phyrexian Obliterators. So, in his shoes, he did see the Pikes. I think he wants the Nihil Spellbombs, since he did see the Pikes. The Smelts is sometimes good, but if you bring in the Nihil Spellbombs against this equipment, you might not want the Smelt. And especially he saw the Geist. Now, in Game 3, if he sees the Blade Splicers, he might want that Smelt.
Yeah, I mean, then it has a lot more options, you know. It's something like, a card like Ancient Grudge, for example, is a card that you can't really sideboard in against a deck that just has equipment, but if you also see Blade Splicer, then you know you're going to be getting some value out of it somewhere along the line. So even if they're blinking their Blade Splicer with a Restoration Angel, you can kind of stay at parity by siding in cards like that. Whereas, you know, if you've only seen a Pike, siding in a card like Smelt is pretty dangerous because you don't even know if the Pikes are going to stay in. And you might just be mulliganing to 6 if that card's in your opening hand.
Oh, I'm totally with you on that. So,
Phyrexian Obliterator, a card I actually had an opponent sideboard that in against me when I was playing Delver online, which seemed like an absurd mistake.
You have 6 to 7. You have Vapor Snakes and Celestial Purges.
So, I mean, a card like that, just for viewers at home who are wondering how you're supposed to sideboard with these zombie decks, if you play these mono black zombie decks, or whether or not you're supposed to keep cards like that in. Against Delver, any creature that costs 4 or more mana that does not have an immediate impact on the game when it comes to play.
Aww.
They love you.
Aww, thank you, bro. And Scott. That's adorable. I love you guys too. Oh, I'm blushing now. I really am blushing.
Corey got in late last night, brought us some Rice Krispie treats made by Brad's grandmother.
Yes, they're so delicious.
They are the best Rice Krispie treats I've ever tasted.
If you guys are at home watching this and decide to come down here just for a Rice Krispie, I will give you one. We have extra pans. Yeah, and I'm watching my figure, so. But yeah, they were
just from Flat Ground. I could jump on the top of that garbage can.
Oh yeah, so we've been playing this new game, Jake and I, for you guys at home while they're still sideboarding. It's how high can Jake jump onto something, and so far I've been very impressed. He just free jumps onto things that I don't even know if I could get up like crawling. It's that embarrassing. He has a vert that is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, one of my greatest strengths is my ability to jump from flat ground onto high objects.
It is a good ability. Yeah. Now, if there was
an Olympic high jumper.
If there was a zombie apocalypse, I would. My money's on you.
Because I can just jump over them.
But the problem is, money isn't worth anything anymore. So.
That's true.
It is. We go on to survival barter system. And what are we talking about? These players have been shuffling for way too long. Enjoying some camera time. Corey hasn't played a competitive tournament since Worlds last year, actually.
Oh, wow.
That was his last competitive tournament. It was a depressing one because they were not giving away any invites to Pro Tours. Corey's used the rating system and the Pro Tour Top 50 to stay on the train. He was consistently going to almost every Pro Tour. But then when they cut both those systems out, he just fell apart. His avenues to get on the Pro Tour were both gone.
Corey and I have similar, we often lamented to one another about PTQ seasons back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
There were multiple PTQ seasons where Corey and I both had multiple second places.
Yeah.
So we just complained to one another. It was nice to have somebody else. Misery loves company.
Yeah, it was sad every time I got that phone call from Corey being like, top 8'd or I took second or something. Funny is I just checked my phone. I'll have to call after this round. My grandma just called me, and I think that's to know how to get on the internet. To figure out how to get to SCG Open. She loves watching this stuff, and to know that Corey's playing, I'm commentating. Oh man, Shoebox, do you have 5 minutes for me? Can you call my grandma and make sure she's watching right now? She might need help with the internet.
That's right. Hold on, guys. We got to make sure that Brad and Corey's grandmother is watching this important stuff.
I love my jump. She's watching? Okay. Okay, Grandma, I love you. I'm glad you're listening.
Hello, my name is Jacob. I wanted to thank you for the Rice Krispie treats. They were delicious. I've had 2 already.
Just had to make sure Graham's watching.
Yeah, so post-board, I think Corey was probably a dog in game 1.
Yes, and now he's a major favorite.
I think he's a huge favorite here in post-board.
I mean, look at that shirt. He's always a favorite.
Obviously.
He looks like he's ready to go raving tonight. Who said tie-dyes weren't for every occasion? All right, so Scott's going to keep his opening hand. We're going to finally get to game 2 of the SCG Open in Minneapolis.
And that looks like a keeper for Scott, so let's see if Corey also wants to keep this opener. Mulling over his decision, as it were.
I think
that he's got to ship that one back. It looks like he doesn't have blue mana in his opening hand, and those are never really the hands you want to keep.
And I see a Geist, so did he keep Geist and throw back his Restoration Angels?
I'm really not sure.
I hope that's not the case.
I think Corey may have a little bit of rustiness here.
Yeah, he hasn't played. I mean, he was playing a little bit online, but
well, he knew to bring in the Celestial Purges, so that's good.
Yes. Uh-oh, but one of them might actually get taken out of his hand, a Duress off the top.
Pretty good one for Scott here.
That Diagraph Ghoul was tapped very quickly.
But I think Scott has a Gravecrawler and another 1-drop here, another Diagraph Ghoul, so he's going to want to curve out perfectly. And
this start is so hard for Delver to beat.
Yeah, you just get run over.
You need a Blade Splicer.
You really need a Blade Splicer.
All right, so there's an island off the top. Corey's got to find someone. All right, he's just going to purge now, making sure that guy is off the board just in case like Scott just wants to use a Tragic Slip on it. And there's a 3rd land and a Messenger. So Corey's going to be dropping down to
14 here and then 14. To 12 from that Messenger, and that's not going to be good for Corey.
No, and another Messenger in hand. This is just the draw that you can't beat a Zombies. This is just the nut draw.
Yeah, a perfect draw for Scott here.
All right. Oh, and just a clone, an image. Rutrow.
Corey able to draw that blue mana he wanted to, but
all right, quickly.
Not really.
Guys, is it okay if I run over and tell my brother how to sideboard this matchup? Is that okay? No, I can't do that. Oh, okay.
Corey dropping down to 5 here from this attack, unless he has a Vapor Snag. But
even a Vapor Snag is just...
Vapor Snag's not even that good here.
No. All right.
Does have the Vapor Snag, only going to drop to 8, but that's a lot of inevitability from Scott. Scott's going to be
now it's going to be 6 with the Messenger coming back down.
This game is all but over for Corey.
Want another Gravecrawler off the top?
If you're Scott, you might just want a Gravecrawler and Duress. Lock this one up. I think I just play the Messenger, though. He's tapped out. You have a messenger in hand. You have 3 lands in play.
Well, maybe you want to duress and get that Snapcaster out so you can't Celestial Purge. Okay, he's found the line. We're going to make a messenger. So
seems like reasonable.
This drops Corey to 6. Now, next turn, Corey could find a 4th land, which will allow him to Snapcaster Mage, and he did. Snapcaster Purge the messenger and block both of the creatures. That'll just leave him with a 1/1 Phantasmal Image, but he will stay at 6 life. And the boards will be cleared, which is, not a terrible place to be.
If he's able to do that, he'll also then have some more land haunt fodder.
Mm-hmm.
And, his life total after the other messenger comes into play will be 4. And not exactly where you want to be, but
No.
he would still be in the game if he has the Snapcaster Mage.
Yes, and that's kind of how you want to play against zombies. Just be in the game, hopefully not die. A 3rd messenger would be game over, or any burn spell, but... Alright, so it's just a...
Yeah, and this is not where Corey wants to be. Corey
knows it.
Yeah.
So Fume Spitter actually just finishes this game off. Fume Spitter, target the messenger. Messenger comes back but can't be a blocker anymore.
Who chooses not to kill Corey here?
Alright, this drops Corey to 3, comes back as a messenger. Drops Scott to 15 with the Undying ability. Drops Corey to 1, and Corey knows.
1 with a Geralt's messenger staring him right in the face, and
now
Corey's
they're
gonna
going to
pack
game
this one
3.
in.
Yeah.
So we're going to game 3 here.
So hopefully Corey thinks about sideboarding.
Yeah, Corey, you're not going to want those guys in your deck.
Yeah, you're going to want Blade Splicers. Can he hear us? If I yell loud enough, it won't be against the rules because I was just announcing.
So it does look like Scott has chosen to bring in his Duresses, which is an interesting choice here.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Duress. Like I don't mind people Duressing me because it's a whole card from Scott, but it tends to be sometimes potentially a half a card for Delver. Because you can just flash back.
You have so much redundancy, you have so many cantrips, sometimes you don't really need that many
and
spells.
You have
because
Snapcaster
you run people
Mages.
over. You have Snapcaster Mage.
Yeah. So,
speaking of Snapcaster Mage, for those of you who were not checking out the Players' Championships, Shouty Yasuka's Modern deck
was so awesome.
Probably one of the coolest Modern decks. It seems like so much fun to play. I mean, the deck has Aether Vial.
Wasn't he the only person that played Aether Vial in Pro Tour Philly, too?
Yes.
Yeah, he's the only person in the room. Everyone's like, why didn't they ban Aether Vial with everything else? And then by the time everyone tested, everyone was like, oh yeah, Aether Vial's not good in this format. And then Shota's the only person in the room playing Aether Vial. And then he brings it back for the next Modern event too, which is just sweet.
And I mean, it's obviously working out pretty well for him.
I mean, think of the sweet things you can do. You can have it on 3, play Eternal Witness, get back Cryptic Command, counter Cryptic Command back to Witness.
Yeah, exactly.
Do it again next turn. You can end of turn,
it's
make
like
a
a
Hunt Master.
Yeah.
Oh, nothing got played this turn. Okay, I'll flash this Hunt Master in and flip it next turn.
I mean, just the interaction between a Violet 3, an Eternal Witness, and a Cryptic Command,
Yeah.
it's almost a lock.
Yeah, it's so gross.
You get to counter a spell every single turn. In order to stop it, they're going to need to play a spell which you want to Cryptic Command and have a removal spell to use at the same time. And then they have to 2-for-1 themselves in order to do that properly.
Yes.
And then the problem is that if you ever draw another
Witness.
Eternal Witness, it just starts all over again.
It's so gross.
And he has things like Spell Snare and Final Answer Archmage to protect the lock.
Yeah, it was an awesome deck. I'm sad that he didn't win the whole tournament.
As am I. I mean, a great run by him. A 12-2 record by the end of the event.
I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Place.
He got 13 pro points. He walked away from the tournament with 13 pro points. He walked away with the most pro points, even in second place. That's the gross thing about that tournament. Yeah, you like got 11, I think, or 12 or something. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So they both tied. Never mind. They both tied for the amount of pro points. All right, so
You with an interesting sideboard plan in that matchup. The Olivia Voldaren came in game 3.
wow, really?
And Shouta had sided out every single way to deal with it, basically, except Cryptic Command, and it just completely
Demolished him.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a good leveling. Both those players are just so disgustingly good. Like Yuya's one of the only people in the world that I've yet to beat. Oh no, I beat him once, and that was in 2009 when I wasn't even good at the game.
I've never beat Yuya.
I played him the first time we played, I beat him at GP Minneapolis. There was a win in him. And then ever since then, he's beat me like 7 times.
I've played against him like 4 times. I'm 0-4.
Yeah. He just crushes me. He crushes me. Like we played in the last round of a PT where the winner gets 30 seconds, and he's like, split, and I'm like, yes, thank you. How generous of you.
It's like when I go to F&M and I'm playing against somebody who's like a newer player, and you're kind of just like going through the motions and like like winning and like, or even if you're losing, like you know that you're like playing much better than your opponent. When you're playing against Yuya, you feel like you're on the other side of that table.
Oh yeah, you do something
The
and then
discrepancy in skill level between me and Yuya.
I did
so massive.
I did something against him at GP Pittsburgh, the one he won. We played in like the first round of day 2, and I did something and his eyebrow went up. I'm like, wait, what did I do?
What did I do wrong?
I thought that was right.
And every time you make a mistake, you know it too, because a lot of times he's like,
yeah,
he cringes for you, and you're like, oh man, come on.
Oh man! All right, so let's see if Corey gets to play. This is game 3 of the first round of the SCG Open Minneapolis. We're gonna see if he keeps his 7. He's smiling, so he must be happy. Start off with the Seachrome Coast. No Delver Secrets though. All right, so Scott is gonna lead with the Cavern of Souls. Probably
zombie.
Yes, I think that's correct.
And zombie it is. So
right,
Corey, not going to be able to mental misstep that because it's played from Cavern of Souls.
All right, 2 damage from Scott, dropping Corey to 18.
Corey doesn't mind.
Corey's ready for the onslaught that time. Wow, Scott is really good at having all the 1-drops. He's got like every single one.
Again, not looking too good for Corey here.
Corey's going to need 1 Blade Splice away from just having board control though.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Blade Splicer in a matchup like this. It's just so powerful. 6 points of power on turn 2 for Scott, 2 games in a row now.
Yeah, that's just
and
rough.
That's going to be really rough for Corey to deal with. Corey going to need a Blade Splicer in hand. A Celestial Purge would help, but Blade Splicer is ideal. And does he have it?
Yes, he does. Woo! All right, so we've got a board position now.
Yeah, and that's going to stabilize the game for Corey here.
Yes, that's actually going to lock down. For what Scott has in hand, that's going to lock everything down. Scott has a couple Night of Infamies, so if he gets both of them down, he can start attacking with a 4/4.
He only has access to 3 lands, though, so he may do something like Fume Spit or Night of Infamy.
And then attack with a 3/3, yeah.
Attack with a 3/3 Gravecrawler.
Yeah. Oh wow! He has double removal spell, dropping Corey to 12. That's good.
That's really good.
I did not see the tragic slip.
Let's see, does Corey have another Blade Splicer?
If he has 1 more Blade Splicer, then he can lock the board down for a turn or 2.
Yeah, there's Scott just 2 for 1-ing himself, losing a bit of card economy, but it's well worth it when you have 6 points of power on the table and you're able to put your opponent on an empty board.
And you're putting Delver on this race. This is what you want. You don't want Delver to get a chance to race. Like, if that Blade Splicer lived, Corey's 1 Restoration Angel away from just, locking the entire board up. But at this point, the game is going to be tough.
And are those...
There's a Geist in his hand and an Image. Both 2 cards that I actually don't like in this matchup at all.
Yeah, I would not have those in my deck here, but I think he may have another Blade Splicer in hand.
Well, I don't think you'd think this long if you had a Blade Splicer. That's just the play you make.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I can see it on Corey's face. He knows he's down. I've seen that face one too many times.
Corey going to need to trade this Geist with something like a Diregraph Ghoul right now. Not really what he wants to be doing. Going to drop himself to 8 here. And will Scott continue to apply the pressure? He will with a Knight of Infamy. Corey going to read that. Okay, this has protection from white. That's not ideal.
Corey draws a land. Don't really know if he needs all of it, but he will be able to make a Knight of Infamy at least.
At the very least, the Knight of Infamy coming down for Corey. Not exactly what he wants, but better than nothing. Be able to trade.
Oh, just a go?
And that's not what he wants.
I mean, it's Restoration Angel drop. That'll probably drop Corey to 2. I have no idea. It's just a black. It's a spell. I don't know what spell that was though. But yeah, Corey's in such a tough spot here. Maybe. I mean, he has to have a Restoration Angel, right? Because we did see an image. So.
Yep.
All right, the creatures come in. Restoration Angel comes down.
Yes, Restoration Angel going to be able to eat up this Diregraph Ghoul here. And if this is not a Restoration Angel,
I think it's a Vapor Snag plus Spirit. That's not good.
That's not good at all, no.
Oh, it might be double Snag Snapcaster. That won't be the worst.
Maybe it's Celestial Purge Gutshot Vapor Snag.
Well, here comes
any combination of things could happen here.
There's a Vapor Snag.
Bouncing Diregraph Ghoul.
Yeah, he's gonna bounce the Ghoul and the Gravecrawler and block the Knight of Infamy.
And that seems like a very reasonable play from Corey here.
Alright, Corey is going to see the... Alright, I don't know what's going on right now. Oh, he's just targeted the Vapor Snag. That's...
Yeah, gonna wait till he can block. See what's
so
going on.
Corey's going to block, and he's just gonna. Did he take the 2? Wow. Corey drops to 6, doesn't use his Vapor Snag yet. Diregraph Ghoul comes down. Knight of Infamy comes down, and a. Oh wow, that was a Gravecrawler. Wow. This is disgusting.
Poor Corey. All right, and a
Blade
Splicer.
Needs to be a Splicer.
And here these games have really demonstrated the difference between Geist and Blade Splicer in this matchup. That's what I was talking about before. Is if you want to be winning these matches,
well,
Corey's dead.
Volley, yeah.
And that's it. Show him the volley. No
Come
sorrows.
on.
Oh, and that's it.
All right, Corey loses round 1, 2-1.
Corey, a little bit of a misstep there with sideboarding.
Yeah.
So
it's all right. He'll get the rust off. We'll see him in the top 8.
Yeah.
I have faith in my bro. Yeah. Welcome back, everyone. I am Brad Nelson.
And I'm Jacob Van Lunen, and we're here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, bringing